Hey, it's Barry, and over the last 25 years, I've been asked constantly, why aren't there more black real estate investors, and now why aren't there more black real estate developers? I just think there's just not enough people looking, willing to roll up their sleeves and understand what it takes to be an investor, and especially a black investor or developer in today. So stick around, I'm going to talk to you and tell you why.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So today I'm going to play a video that I kind of critiqued in my last live broadcast a couple days ago. And this one involves the guys over at earnyourleisure.com, and they're talking to a up and coming black real estate developer in the Houston area. So I'm going to play a little bit of what he says, and I'm going to critique it, and we'll talk along as it goes. But it explains a lot of what I have felt and experienced in the real estate business as a black real estate investor. So let's go ahead and take a look at that video.
But for me, it's just like I want to do something bigger. And so as I continued to flip, I started realizing, this narrative about gentrification happens over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I know a few of us that are flipping. I don't know anybody that's really trying to get into the development game and kind of change the narrative so we have some control over that. So
I have heard that many times over the last 25 years. And I can tell you firsthand that most of the people involved in real estate investing have been out there trying to make a quick buck. There are very few guys that I know who have been in there 5 years. Fewer still, the number of guys who have been there 10 years. Fewer still, the guys who have been in the game for 20 years. There's a reason for that. It takes a lot of work and a lot of perseverance. So let's continue.
2013, that's when I decided to kind of get off into that.
So were you buying land in 2013? Was that the next step?
I didn't know what I was going to buy. I just knew what I was going to do is stop flipping and try to figure it out.
Okay.
So I just started talking about it, and man, it came full circle. My same line brother that helped me get into the game, he had an old tenant reach out to him that used to be in one of the properties and say, hey, I'm over here in 5th Ward, and the landlord over here isn't taking care of the property. I think he's on drugs. Mm-hmm. And so, what he heard was opportunity.
That's the word. You have to be scaling your community constantly. Put the head on a swivel. Recognize where opportunity exists. You're driving through a neighborhood and the grass is high, possible opportunity. You're driving through the neighborhood and you see blue tarps on the roof and there hasn't been a major storm in years, probably an opportunity. You see mail sticking out of a mailbox that hasn't been picked up in quite some time, potential opportunity. In this regard, Chris saw or knew of someone who owned some land, thought the guy might have been on drugs, thought to himself, hey, this might be some opportunity.
So he reached out to me and he's like, man, I think we got an opportunity to go pick up a few houses over here. So I went to go meet with the guy, ended up being a whole block. He had a grocery store on it.
How much was that?
Okay.
So, this guy stepped into an amazing opportunity. Once in a while, that will happen. If you position yourself correctly as the authority in the market, deals like this will come upon you. You're going out there just to check something out, and the next thing you know, you're stepped into it, as Chris just said, an opportunity that's much bigger than what you thought. I can tell you a story. I once went to a house to try and buy the house from the people who were in foreclosure. Scott's honor. By the time I left that home, the people had simply signed over the deed and handed me the keys and just said, we're done. True story. You never know what the opportunity is going to be until you get there.
True story. At the time, this was in the hood. It wasn't worth nothing. It was probably worth $300,000 the whole block.
The whole block, the entire block.
Everything was kind of run down. But it's in the area where you tell somebody I'm about to go spend $300,000, they're like, man, are you crazy?
Right. It's the hood.
It's the hood. Yeah, nothing but drugs and prostitution over there. You're gonna waste your money. So what I ended up doing to talk him into doing the deal, I offered him $400,000 for it.
That's what I've been saying. That's what's going to set you apart as a real estate investor, black or white. I don't want this just to be of value to black potential real estate investors. Understand this, even if you are a white real estate investor. There's money for all of us. See, what he did was he knew the value of the property. He knew the deal. He knew he had to have that deal. So did he come in and try to lowball the guy and give him an offer for $200,000? No. He gave him $100,000 more than what he was asking for. People think, oh man, that's crazy. He didn't get a good deal. No, he had a vision. He knew where he was going. And sometimes it works out. If you give and take on price, the seller will give and take on terms, but you have to know what you're looking for. So listen to what he says here.
So, but of course I didn't have the cash to pay $400,000. So he actually had inherited the property from his dad. His dad was like a real estate tycoon. Had like 26 blocks over there.
26 blocks.
26 blocks.
Whoa.
26 blocks. And this block happened to be the one that they gave this kid, and he was like the horrible kid, you know what I mean?
He botched it.
Yeah. So this was the one he had, and he still wasn't taking care of it. So I offered him an owner finance scenario.
Okay, this is really important what you're about to hear. He acknowledged, hey, listen, I offered this guy $400,000. I don't have $400,000. There's no way I'm going to be able to pay for it, but I'm going to put the deal together. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. If you put the deal together, then you can work on the money afterwards. I get constant information and emails from people looking to get into my deals. Some are viable, some are not. Investors have different criteria. They depend on where they want to go with a deal. But the idea behind it is knowing what the deal is and how you can structure it. So let's continue here.
Where I was like, I'll give you 10% now.
What's owner finance?
So that's when instead of going to the bank, the owner that actually doesn't have any debt on the property will let you make payments over time to buy the property from him. So I gave him 10% of what we agreed to, the $400,000, so $40,000, which came from me selling one of my rental properties.
So you may not have 10% down. You may not have flipped a couple properties already, and you don't have 10%. You don't have $40,000 to put on a $400,000 property. But that's where it gets fun. That's when you start rolling up your sleeves, picking up the phone, knocking on doors, talking to investors, and instead of having to raise $400,000, now you only have to raise $40,000. You just knocked off 90% of your work. You just have to get this part. You don't have to get the whole $400,000. You got to get 10%. You want to get $40,000. Then I'm telling you right now, Scout's honor again. Don't even know if I did that right. If your deal is good, the money's going to be there. Absolutely.
And then that allowed me now to control that whole block of property. In 2016, redevelopment kind of started in the area.
So understand what he just said. Control the block. He controlled the block. What that means is he went to contract. Once you get the seller to sign the contract, you control the block. You control the property. You control the house. You control the duplex. Nothing can happen in that window that you've set out in the contract to purchase the property. You're probably going to have a 10-day inspection period. You're going to have a couple of different clauses that have to be met. But during that period of time, you've locked it up. Normally, you're going to have a 10 or 15-day, inspection period. Then you're going to have a 30 to 45-day closing period. I hate this microphone, this headphone. You're going to have that period of time during that 30 or 45 days, or at least during that 10 days, because you don't want to lose your deposit if you can't close. You need to go find that money. So it's ideal to have people lined up in advance. You need to find your private investors, your private lenders, and say, listen, hey, bud, if I find a deal that meets this criteria, will you come in with it? Come in with me. And make sure that you get that, and the person is serious. Show them the kind of deals you're looking at, driving around the neighborhood. Do what you need to do. But that 10% is all you're going to need.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip of the Barry Cunningham Show. Every weekday, Monday through Friday, I talk about real estate and the trends and news that affect real estate and making money in real estate. So if you want to see us live, just go ahead and click the subscribe button below, or just click the link below, which is going to be a link to the archives of all of our live shows. And then we'll go ahead and cut these up and get them out there so you can see the clips of the various shows. But in any event, I'm glad you're watching. Please continue to watch and have a great day. Get out there and make some money. And we'll see you on the next episode.